Making this to say that I'm sorry. I was wrong. I fucked up. Last year, T. Martin made an apology video where he almost kind of apologized for scamming 8-year-olds into wasting money on his shit-ass CSGO website, and I called it the worst apology video that could have ever been made, and I was wrong. Because Social Repos has blown that shit out of the water with this new humdinger here. So this man right here who looks like Marilyn Manson's asshole is a YouTuber by the name of Social Repos, and he was dating another YouTuber named Jacqueline Glynn, and he cheated on her, and obviously she's very upset, so she made a video about the whole situation to update people, and that prompted him to make his own response to it, and it's fucking abysmal. I'm not going to make the bold claim I did last year and say it's the worst that could be ever given on this site, but damn, you're going to have a hard time topping this one. You've got your work cut out for you if you're trying to make a bad apology this year.
Yeah, I fucked up. I'm definitely going to lose some fans. I'm going to lose some friends. But there's two sides to every story. I wouldn't really call this a defense.
Yeah, you're right. This can't be a defense because there's no way you could defend yourself here. But that doesn't stop him from trying. He's out here looking like the Joker about to deliver a monologue. You want to know how I got this gonorrhea?
So I guess I would like to explain some things. All the brutal graphic details that she explained to everyone. So I'd like to give some very descriptive details of my own. Not to slander Jacqueline or anything, just to kind of, I guess, give you a deeper context.
But why? How could having a deeper understanding of the context provide any type of justification for the cheating? I doubt it was some type of heroic sacrifice where the girl you fucked had a bomb in her pussy that would destroy the city if you didn't defuse it by sticking your cock in there. It really just seems like he's doing this out of spite because Jacqueline went into such brutal detail as he described, so he kind of just did this to try and throw some shit at her that would make her look kind of bad. He actually even deleted her comment on this video. I don't know entirely what the comment said, I just saw a picture of it and I only got a little snippet, but it was her kind of disproving some of the points he's about to make. And naturally, if you're making an apology to someone, the next logical step is then to remove that comment from the person you're apologizing to really let them know that you're sorry.
I do deeply regret it.
Honestly, some pretty shitty acting from him during this arc of the anime. It sounds like some House of the Dead 2 voice acting here.
It kind of was a classic case of social media, showing the best parts of your relationship on social media, so everyone thinks everything's just peaches and roses all the time, and it's just not. It's a lie. We were happy, but there's obviously a dark side to everything, clearly.
I truly have no idea what point he was trying to make with this here. Oh, just a classic case of us showing the best parts. None of you had any ideas I was actually cheating on her behind her back. Just a classic case of one of those things, you know?
Because I did cheat on her, just like I did my ex-girlfriend, which everyone knows about because of our best friend.
I don't really see what there is to giggle about there. Oh, ha ha ha, you guys remember when I did this last time? Thanks to our best friend that blew that case wide open. Ha ha ha, classic best friend. Yeah, I betrayed a lot of people. Ha ha ha.
I met Jacqueline, and she was perfect. She was an atheist. She cared so much about me and just everything that I did, and I did care about her. And I don't know, everything just made sense.
I cut a few things out here, but it really served no purpose. I don't even see why he would talk about it unless he was really trying to stretch this video past 10 minutes for ad revenue, which would be an incredibly douchebaggy thing to do, but I wouldn't put it by modern YouTube creators. What he was saying is he vowed never to have another public relationship since he cheated on his last girlfriend, but then he met Jacqueline, obviously had a public relationship, and he also talked about another promise he made a while back where he said he would never ever cheat on anyone ever again, and he was wrong. Just like my father when he said I would be 6'5" when I grew up. My dad is 6'5", my mother is 5'2", so luckily I split the fucking difference and I'm 5'6", so I'm really short for a 23-year-old man, and it really fucking sucks. Why couldn't I be 6 foot, Dad? Huh? Why couldn't I at least get close to your 6'5" towering Chad height? But anyway, I love this line from Social Repos. She was perfect. She was an atheist. What a low bar of entry to being perfect in this man's eyes. In this moment, I am euphoric because girl atheism. Yippee. Fucking, I don't know anything about these two, and I'm sure Jacqueline's a great girl for a lot more than just being an atheist. I imagine there's gotta be a lot more to somebody to make them perfect than just being a fucking atheist. But for some reason, this man cares so little about her, he couldn't think of any more good qualities other than her atheism. That's just fucking sad, really.
And she kind of took me on with the thought that she could fix me, and that, you know, there's a lot of good parts that she saw in me. And you know, I commend her for that, but at the same time, you know, everyone did warn her. And
what an ironclad defense, fucking bulletproof. Jacqueline, you knew what you were getting into. People warned you. You should have expected this from me. You knew this was going to happen. You shouldn't have been surprised. You knew I was going to put my small pee-pee into other lady buttholes. This shouldn't have come as a surprise. This is your fault. It's incredible. He kind of just blames her for this whole thing happening. You should have expected it. This was going to happen, and people told you.
Unbalance in the relationship even early on, which terrified me, and I could never bring it up to her. All the way, we dated for 11 months, and I could never talk to her about it, just because I was so afraid, because she got so attached to me so quickly. She was just, it's almost like she just, after month 2 or 3, she was like ready to settle down with me and ready to get a house, and it just seemed so perfect, and I was like, what are you doing? What do you...
From the comment Jacqueline left, the snippet I saw, this is the part she was disproving. Apparently, this wasn't a thing that happened. It was him that brought up the idea of moving in together or some shit. It doesn't really matter either way who's right or wrong on that subject, because this point is just moot. It serves absolutely no purpose in this video. It looks like this man's skin is about to fall off of his fucking body here. He's like a reptilian shedding here. His flaky, dry skin, I think he's suffering from extreme psoriasis or something, but this man needs some moisturizer ASAP. His face just must be made out of paper mache, and it's starting to crack now.
I just would like to say that I'm sorry to anyone that looks up to me or that follows me.
Well, I'm glad you've apologized to the misguided teenagers that for some reason think you're a good role model. That's very nice of you. How about an apology to Jacqueline? At no point throughout this entire thing does he say, I am sorry for what I did, Jacqueline. I didn't hear that phrase. If you're gonna apologize, fucking apologize. Here, take some notes to any of you out there that may have fucked up and are thinking about doing a YouTube apology video. A, don't do that. And B, if you really feel so inclined, the Lord has chosen you to make this great apology video, then do these things. Actually apologize for it. Say you fucked up and you're going to work on fixing it. Tell how you're going to work on fixing it. And again, apologize for the fucking thing that happened. This man goes on a 10-minute rant about shit that doesn't matter. The next part of this he talks about is content on his channel. Why? What is the point? The video is supposed to be an apology to Jacqueline about what happened. I cut a lot out to this point, but basically he drew the conclusion that he shouldn't be in relationships, he's not good at them. He also speculates that maybe he has a sex problem and should get help, but then says he doesn't believe in getting help. So about 9 minutes of this 10-minute video are just empty, useless words. He could have bent over and just farted into the camera for 9 minutes and it would have had the same impact to the shit he talks about in here. Fucking useless.
And it's clearly I'm a careerist. I'm so deeply entrenched in social repose just as an entity that it comes first. It comes before all my love and relationships and even family to an extent. This is my life. I've chosen it, and I put my all into it.
Oh, you poor hero. All the sacrifices you made to make mediocre YouTube content. Goddamn. My hat's off to you, social repos. If only we Cro-Magnon understood what it meant to be in your shoes, all of the women you've had to fuck behind your girlfriend's back. Damn, we would have so much more appreciation for the art you create here. You certainly are an expert careerist by cheating on a YouTube personality that's pretty fucking big, and then taking all of this negativity to your channel, losing a lot of subs. Man, you've really got careerism figured out, social repos. Take notes out there, any up-and-comers. This man's got it down to a science.
I'm a little hurt that she kind of broadcasted everything. I'm not hurt that she talked about the cheating. I knew she would have to talk about that at some point, but to go into such graphic detail feels a little unnecessary. But it's out there, so.
Oh damn, now I feel bad. He's hurt that she talked about it to such an extent. I mean, there was a set amount that he was okay with and that he would have given his blessing to, but to go past that, that's a bit disrespectful, Jacqueline. You really hurt his feelings with this. I hope you understand. And honestly, he made such a convincing argument. I'm convinced he's the victim in all this. Jacqueline made it all public, and it really hurt his reputation.
Yeah, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry I let you guys down. I'm going to do better. I'm going to make more art and more music, and if you don't want to follow me anymore because you think I'm a shitty person, or because I'm disgusting, or because you can't stand the thought of ever watching me again because of what I did to Jacqueline, I can't make you stay, but I promise you I'll do better with my videos and my content, and I'm
Once again, just apologizing to the audience that found out, not to Jacqueline, but at least he's promising to do better with his content, so I'm looking forward to his Minecraft Let's Plays that he's going to steer towards. And yeah, just overall, an absolutely atrocious apology here. I cut a lot out, but there was a big rant about the content on his channel and how he was unsatisfied with it, so at least he understood what the big issue here, which was his content starting to slip up, not the cheating. That was just secondary. It's really all about the content, but he's promising to do better content, so yeah, that's about it. This guy seems like a beauty community, I'm not sure on the proper nomenclature, is just fucking terrible right now. You can tell just from looking at me that I'm not big into the makeup or beauty world, but I do like to keep my cheeks spread so I can stay updated and filled in on information on YouTube drama, and the makeup and beauty side of all of that never has any shortage of that. Tati Westbrook released another 40-minute video today, which is supposed to be some kind of pseudo-apology and explanation for why she tried to ruin James Charles's life last year. And it's pretty fucking rough. It's like having a hemorrhoid. It's kind of painful. It's pretty boring. Really, the only purpose this video would serve is if you have insomnia and need help falling asleep. It is unnecessarily long. Like, this whole thing could have been summarized in 1 or 2 tweets if she wanted to. I don't really know why it's 40 minutes long. And it's her reading a legal statement that she's prepared, and it's pretty fucking painful. It's like she's reading the terms and conditions when signing up to Spotify. In fact, I wish it was just 40 minutes of Tati reading the terms and conditions when signing up to Spotify. It'd be more genuine and engaging. This has every cliche of a YouTuber apology, a lot of fake crying, and a lot of passing the blame and deflecting. She keeps talking about how terrible Shane and Jeffrey were for this whole thing, and that it's really just kind of mainly their fault and she was just an innocent victim of their manipulation. But really the whole video just feels pretty manipulative from her here as well. I'll show you an excerpt, a couple excerpts from it, just so you get an idea of what the entire 40 minutes is like.
I promised my dad I wasn't gonna cry. I've been trying to feel... Can't do this. I've been trying to feel strong enough to do this video because I want to feel strong. I never said that James Charles was a danger to society. My video was not made with any malice.
But you did. That was the whole purpose of your video last year, was painting James Charles as a menace to society and some kind of evil supervillain. You saying you didn't post that video with malice is like me saying 5'6" isn't short for a man. It's just a lie. It's a lie I'm telling myself, and I've convinced myself. I know I'm short, Tati. You don't need to rub it in. This whole video is just useless. It's been nearly a full year since you soaked up roughly 5 million subscribers off your video lying about James Charles. Why are you coming forward with this now? What the fuck is the point? Handle it privately. It is a matter that should have been handled privately. But for some reason, there's so many huge egos in this beauty and makeup community where they have to feel like everyone loves them and they present themselves as this perfect person, this benevolent ruler of all things beauty related. So she felt compelled to make this video to try and put herself in the best light. Like, hey, look at me taking responsibility for this thing that happened a long time ago. Look at how good of a person I am.
I did not publicly air any of the horrific accusations that were being made behind the scenes. While I was definitely upset that he had accepted a sponsorship from the biggest rival to my brand, Halo Beauty, I did not make my video because of vitamins. I made it as a result of all of the poisonous lies that were fed to me by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star.
Yeah, this is what I think the actual purpose of this video is, just to deflect blame off of herself and place it onto Shane and Jeffrey. I didn't want to make that video about James Charles. I was manipulated into it by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. They were the puppet masters, and I was simply the marionette dancing for them. They fed me these poisonous lies, and I had no choice but to make this video lying about James Charles of my own free will, and post it of my own free will. It's just silly. Taddy is nearly 40 years old, and she knows what she's doing. She knew what she was doing with the James Charles situation, and I really think the only reason she's made this video breaking her silence about all of it is because right now Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are getting absolutely annihilated, just straight fucking blasted for a ton of terrible, awful things they've done in their past, and Taddy wanted to dogpile on top of it to score some subscribers off of the drama and present herself as the good person in the situation, how she was innocent in the James Charles case because she was getting fed lies by these two people who everyone hates right now. But that excuse doesn't really work because the thing you were initially mad about in your first video was the fact James Charles took a different vitamin sponsor than your company or whatever the fuck you sell, vitamin C cream to rub on the rim of your asshole to improve hearing. I don't know what the fuck your businesses do. But you were mad because he didn't go with your business and instead looked elsewhere, so you felt personally attacked, and wasn't that like one of the main points you made? That has nothing to do with any lies Shane and Jeffrey may have fed you. That was entirely your decision to make that like the focal point of the last video on why you were so mad at him. At least I think. It is so hard to even know what the fuck the drama is with Taddy. Watching her 40-minute videos here is like having a mediocre dream where you wake up and can only remember bits and pieces of it. By the time you finish one of these Taddy videos, you forget you even watched the video. It's like you got hit by a Men in Black neuralizer and just forgot the whole thing. It is so fucking boring, and she's terrible at even making her points clear on what she's trying to say or what is even actually going on. It just seems all so vague. And in this video, she doesn't take really any responsibility. She says I'm sorry multiple times, but none of it even feels real because it's sandwiched in between. But remember, Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are bad, and they made me do these bad things. And her having these fake crying episodes in the apology and saying things like, I'm sorry, Dad, I promised you I wouldn't cry. I promised my dad I wouldn't cry? What the fuck? You called your dad on the phone? Hey, Dad, you remember that time that I tried to ruin the life of a young man? Yeah, well, I'm finally going to apologize for that, kind of, and look, I'm going to do my best not to cry. I'm going to try and be strong, alright? For most people, Taddy, saying I'm sorry isn't a feat of strength and bravery. It's common courtesy as a fucking human being to take responsibility for something. I've never understood the perspective where people pat someone on the back for saying I'm sorry or that they're wrong. I think that should just be human nature. When you are wrong about something, you say, look, I fucked up, and this was wrong. Okay, good. That should be what's expected. You can say thank you. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you took some responsibility. But to make it feel like it's some kind of Herculean task to say you're sorry is just such a bad look. The makeup community is just so full of narcissists. Taddy starts this video like, hey, I know you guys haven't seen me in a little while, even though it's only been like a month and a half. Hey, I know you guys have missed me so much because I'm so great. And look, I'm really sorry you haven't seen as much of me as you want to see of me, and you deserve to see more of me. And then she gets into the video. It's just, I just don't get it. I don't understand why people in the makeup and beauty community follow people like this that clearly just don't even care about them and just view them as a number or a sale on their makeup. And even in this fucking apology video, I think she shouts out her own brands at least like 10 or 12 times. I honestly felt like I was just watching a long-winded infomercial or some kind of meta commercial to sell her products or something. It just doesn't sit right with me. If you're gonna apologize for something and you need to mention a brand, just say my company. Why do you have to shout out the fucking brand and what you do and what your mission is? I'm not trying to read the about section on your goddamn vitamin website. Just say, look, this is the company, this is what happened, and I'm sorry. But instead, she goes into this like fucking almost sales pitch like I'm on Shark Tank about to invest in it or something. It's just, I don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't understand. And I don't know why it has to be 40 minutes every time with her. I guess just to milk as much revenue out of it as possible. Couldn't tell you. Have no idea. But I fucking sat through this fucking thing and it felt like a goddamn crime. I honestly feel like wasting someone's time like this, it should be illegal. 40 minutes worth of nothing. Nothing but deflecting blame and insincerely taking responsibility almost in certain areas. I don't know. Makeup community and the beauty community's got some real bad actors in it. And yeah, it's time to roll on out of bed, get a good stretch, get some cereal in your system, sit down and see the latest in the Logan Paul CryptoZoo scam situation. I don't think there's any need for a Dragon Ball Z recap of what's happened up till this point. I think we all know, but I'll give you the briefest rundown. YouTuber CoffeeZilla exposed Logan Paul for a massive crypto scam he was running, telling the story of many victims who lost tons and tons of money on it. A lot of information came out about exactly how horrible this situation was. Logan Paul hiring literal criminals to run it with him, who stole $7.7 million. And after CoffeeZilla released this series of investigative videos, Logan Paul responded with threats against CoffeeZilla, talking about taking him to court. He then made a podcast episode doubling down on everything he was saying. He never defended himself. He didn't attack any of the claims. He didn't provide any evidence to prove that he's innocent. He just kind of kicked in the door, walked up like the Undertaker. He's like, CoffeeZilla, he's a sham. He's a little man. And just like a little man does, he does little man things. And I'm a big boy. I'm Logan Paul. So fuck that guy. And that's it. Like, that's his whole thing. He just kept attacking CoffeeZilla's character without ever even addressing the evidence that he provided. So obviously the first two responses didn't go over well with anyone at all. Not a single soul on this planet. So after that happened, he released a third apology video where the attitude was very different. He was singing a completely different tune. He backpedaled on everything he said about CoffeeZilla, even thanked him for the investigation, said he's dropping the lawsuit, which is probably the smartest thing he's ever decided to do, because his face would have been used as toilet paper to wipe everyone's ass in court if he actually went through with that defamation case idea. But anyway, after the apology video was posted by Logan, CoffeeZilla responded to it last night, going over some of the things that he talked about that are good, that are actually helping some victims that were affected by the scam, but also some things that really fell flat. So I think it's a very interesting breakdown, and I think it's a very fitting conclusion, and I still hope that more is done to help the victims of his massive scam, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. The gift that just keeps on giving. So this is the follow-up to everything. Logan Paul made his big statement talking about like that $1.3 million. Well, you know what? I'm sure CoffeeZilla will cover all of it here.
Well, it's finally over. Logan Paul apologized.
CoffeeZilla, your slime.
And we all forgave
He is
him.
a lopsided journalist with an.
Turns out it's actually on his secondary channel. That's why I couldn't find it. It's entitled Thank You, CoffeeZilla. It's the third response from Logan Paul.
I love this intro. CoffeeZilla's coming out here with the fangs out. He's got his claws drawn. Yeah, I mean, third time's the charm, though, for Logan. He really nailed it on this one. He's a saint again, back in our good graces. I bought 5 bottles of Prime just to celebrate. He's a new man.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought Logan was going to hire me. But in all seriousness, this video does have some major admissions in it I want to go through. For
Banger.
one, Logan
Actual
apologizes
banger.
to me.
I called him. I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego.
Not only that, Logan also pledges a $1.3 million refund plan for people who bought his NFTs. In addition to that, he also promises to finish CryptoZoo, which was left abandoned.
And then
He should just hire that YouTuber that did it in 4 hours. Call it a day, just... I paid this YouTuber an exposure to finish my crypto scam for me so I can continue to make more money off of this.
For example, I think if you were an outsider who is not affected by this scam and you wanted a reason to
That's what I
love
said.
Logan Paul again, I think this nails it. I mean,
That was one of the main things I said when he posted that. If you weren't affected by the scam, you don't know anyone that was affected by the scam, him posting this makes it very easy for you to be a fan again, kind of guilt-free. Like, oh, okay, so some people got scammed, but look at how well he handled himself in this third apology video. So we can just move on past this. I'm not offended anymore, so I don't care if you guys are. I've forgiven him for you guys, so we're good.
flat because he doesn't adequately address the real victims of CryptoZoo, which I think they're rightfully angry about. And I wanted to spend some time talking about that because, again, they've been the heartbeat of this whole story, and they feel very differently about this response than Logan's core audience does.
Yeah,
they don't feel
that
like
sounds
nothing.
about right.
And I want to talk about why. Starting with the $1.3 million repayment plan. It doesn't even apply to the holder of Zoo coins at all. You get nothing if you bought this in-game currency. This refund only applies to current egg holders. So they can cash out that NFT for the initial mint price in crypto, which matters sort of because crypto has crashed a lot. So even though people...
Just to slide on in between your butt cheeks here, I'd like to further clarify on the repayment plan. It is good that there is something that victims can tap into to get some money back, but it's not all of it. It's not every victim, and it's actually only in specific cases for people that were affected by this. So with this $1.3 million repayment plan, it covers some losses for some people, but not all of it. And since crypto has crashed, the value of all of it's very different now. So people aren't going to be made whole, but at least it's something going back to some of the victims, which rarely happens in cases like this where a giant scam comes crumbling down. 9 times out of 10, it just results in the scammer being like, you entered the poop zone, you should have expected to get a little shitty. And they just move on and just never talk about it again. So at least there is something coming back, but of course, it's not all of it.
The Zoo coins were most of this scam. I mean, that's where most of the money was spent. It wasn't just on the NFTs. It was on this in-game currency, which Logan seems to have no intention of refunding. And his response for why is pretty bad. He responds to somebody who lost $80,000 who told him, I hope this isn't just doing what you have to do technically to not get sued.
Oh, goodness gracious. Jinkies. 80K in zoo shitties? Oh, Ruben. Oh, that is painful. Oh, goodness.
Logan replies with a screenshot of his white paper and later explains to
Wait, hold on. Let me read that. Replying with just a picture from your terms of service or whatever is always just such a douchey thing. Because Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle, the contract doesn't include incentives for liquidity providing, although the largest, and then cuts off. Okay, so it's just eat shit, loser. Should have read.
Paper, and later explains to another member of the Discord, I believe there has been a misconception here. As outlined in the white paper, Zoo was created to support CryptoZoo and was not intended to be an investment vehicle. When you sold or bought is not my decision. And look, to be fair to him, there was a misconception that Zoo was an investment vehicle, but it's a misconception that he created.
And he's also not wrong. You shouldn't have bought in the first place. Like, I don't know what drew you to it to begin with. You must really love a picture of eggs and a picture of some animals. Like, he is not wrong. He wasn't the one that forced you to buy in and waste 80,000 doubloons on it. But very douchey, considering you were the one that scammed him and got him to bite into it.
Based strictly on the value of said investment vehicle. Quote, rules for selling. No
market
selling
manipulation.
Until a $200 million market cap. So I think it's fair to say if Logan's own team were buying Zoo coins early, waiting for them to go up in value to a certain level and then selling them, that sounds like an investment vehicle, albeit a very stupid one. Be, quote, abandoned. Will everyone who minted be able to get that refund or just the current owners? Now, in reply to this, someone in the Discord said, if you sell, you lose common investing knowledge.
Or if you invest in CryptoZoo, you lose common sense knowledge. But I mean, again, that is a cold, hard fact that he just dropped onto the table. He slapped his meat down and said, if you bought into this, you sold, you lost. He is correct. But it is still, once again, Logan's fault because he peddled a non-functional scam that was abandoned for a fucking year and a half.
And Logan replies, seeming to agree with this idea. In another Discord exchange, Logan says, please do not put any more money into CryptoZoo, which, by the way, is quite reasonable to say.
Yeah,
but then somebody follows up and says, guys, can someone explain what he said with not investing? But rather than replying, oh, guys, I just meant like I don't want anyone else losing money, or, you know, I don't want anyone else recklessly gambling, Logan replies instead, quote, I will no longer be the scapegoat for anyone's financial decision.
Woe is me. Oh, man, I'm so tired of being the scapegoat for my scam. Damn. The Matrix is out to get me here, and I'm tired of it. No more of this. It's your fault that you fell for my scam. Idiots.
He doesn't seem to see anything wrong with advertising a game that will make you money, it never delivering, millions of dollars being stolen by criminals he hired. And then when all of those people want their money back, he feels like he's the scapegoat. Like, oh, these guys shouldn't have believed me when I advertised to them a fun game that will make you money.
True.
It just doesn't make any sense.
How could these fools have played into my trap when it was so obvious that it was a fake garbage scam to begin with? Why should I feel empathy for these plebeians? I hired 3 criminals to run this and they stole from me. I'm the victim, not these pores that put money into my shit. So why should I be bothered to help them? Fuck you guys.
I mean, Logan had a simple job to do. All he had to do was just come out, apologize, get as much money back for the victims as possible. But he himself can't help but play the victim here. In fact, I have a third example of how Logan might really feel, because Logan tweeted right before his response. He says,
That
quote,
shit was
"The
awesome.
Matrix is real. Pray you never become its target." Now, I guess he's trying to channel Andrew Tate here unsuccessfully, basically saying like,
Andrew Tate even fucking
I'm
dunked
getting
on him
attacked,
for it.
not because I did anything wrong or scammed anyone. I'm just too much of a truth teller. I'm just an enemy of the system. That's
Yeah,
why I must
he
be getting
revealed too
attacked.
much.
But if that's the case, we then have to wonder, who's the Matrix though, Logan? Like, is it your fans who got robbed? Who are the agents coming after you? I know it's not me.
So I'll explain it. Logan, with his back against the wall, does what he does best. He tries to parrot literally anyone else's belief. All he did was grift into something that he thought might be able to earn him some points to get out of it, so he went with the Matrix angle because it's such a hot button thing with Tate and all that. What he failed to realize is that literally no one is on his side, so that became even more of a goofy, delusional attempt at saving face. The guy scammed, point blank, hired 3 criminals, which he himself admits, and he still had the gall, the chutzpah, to try the Matrix angle, which even summoned the Matrix man himself, Andrew Tate, to shit on him for it publicly, further burying Logan's head in his ass. It's such a poetic disaster of PR. He couldn't make a good move. I actually still do believe Logan Paul doesn't have any thoughts of his own. I don't actually think he believes anything in his own mind. He just tries to pander. And he chooses any position that is the easiest and most potentially safe position to take.
I didn't want to release it at the time because I thought there was a better chance at getting a good ending for the victims here if I was a bit more diplomatic with Logan at this critical juncture when he was deciding whether he was going to give money back or not.
At the end of the day, the whole purpose behind this entire thing was telling the victim's story, so anything that could result in them getting their money back is the optimal outcome. That'd be a mission accomplished.
Which, by the way, I think some of them are. In fact, I just saw a lawyer on YouTube, Attorney Tom. He's going to start the legal process going after Logan using stuff like the arbitration clause in their terms of service. So I just wanted to say, if you're a victim of CryptoZoo, it's your support that made all the difference and got the victims at least something. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.
Imagine Logan comes out and just like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You didn't suck my dick hard enough for my benevolent actions here. I am going to sue CoffeeZilla. Fuck you. I feel like it'll happen. It won't. He knows there's no shot he can do that. He would lose even more should he decide to, for some reason, reignite the lawsuit. Just a bullying tactic he never intended to sue. Well, the tactic isn't the threat of a lawsuit. The bullying tactic is when people like that have a lot of money, they can take it to the next step and cost you money to defend yourself. That's the bullying. It's financial bullying through the lawsuit. So him just saying, I'm going to sue you, well, it doesn't really do anything. Now you just look like a weak bitch. You didn't. The tactic that's been used by other YouTubers like BritBoy is, I'm suing you, and then you take it to the next level where you actually do start putting in the paperwork. So then it adds not only a financial burden with getting a lawyer to represent you, which costs money, it then takes a mental toll because of the stress of having to defend yourself legally against someone like that. So that's where the actual bullying is. Or BitBoy Crypto. Sorry, not BritBoy. my bad. That's where that comes in. Oh, Carl. Carl is another great example. Billy Mitchell going after Carl. That's another example of that same tactic that's being used. Yeah, Billy Mitchell is no today because we need to discuss something very important. A huge loser named Bintellect. Big goofball, weirdo, lame-mo, behemoth creep. He is a big TikTok creator, and that's a word I'm using very loosely here, with 11 million followers, and I'm sure only people under the age of 10 have ever heard of him before. What he's become known for over the years is looking at tweets or comments, reading them out, and then going, hehehe, yeah. That's literally it. But sometimes it's a little hard to even muster a laugh, so what he'll do is he'll read one of the comments and then go, yeah, true. And then that's the whole TikTok. But I'm not here just to give him a little wet willy and laugh at him for all of his cringe. I am here to talk about something far more degenerate. But before doing that, I'd like to give a quick honorable mention to something else this piss stain of a person is notorious for doing. Threatening legal action against people that make fun of him. I've seen a couple videos on Bintellect now after I've been informed of the situation, so I did a little digging. Apparently when people make fun of him, he gets super offended and will either try and copyright strike, take down the video, copyright claim it to make money from it, or even go as far as to just threaten to sue the person that made fun of him. You disgusting goblin, you make me sick. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Now, while I do think a legal battle with Benjamin over me making fun of him would be hilarious, I still just don't really feel like showing you any of his clips because it's just going to rot your brain and it's yucky. It's just trash. So, no reason for that. Let's get into what I want to discuss, the new information that came out about this weirdo. So, Bintellect recently made a podcast, I suppose, and he invited someone on named Jordan Max, and then things got really odd. He got super hostile, and she ended up posting about it, which led to this dam breaking, and we were flooded with cringe about Bintellect's behavior over the years with women. So this horny little goblin asks her before going on the podcast, "Do you want to make a video for OnlyFans?" To which she says, "When?" He says, "Today." And then she's saying, "No, you need to be tested within the last 14 days and have an OnlyFans creator account." But then he says, "I mean a video for your page." Oh, what a benevolent saint. He was actually just thinking about her the whole time. He thought this would be a good opportunity for her to make some OnlyFans content with the great Big Bintellect. So she says, "Doing what?" And he goes, "I don't know what performs best on your page." I can literally see him doing this. Well, I mean, I don't know what we do. I mean, what do you do on OnlyFans? Maybe we could do that? So it's become pretty clear that Bintellect uses this podcast as a way of just fucking. It seems to me like the whole podcast existence is only here as a way of trying to get Bintellect laid. So he tries to leverage his big follower count to then invite on OnlyFans models and then ask if he can make content with them. It's pretty pathetic stuff, but we're only just beginning. He continues by saying, "I was just thinking you're helping me with doing a video for my YouTube, so maybe I could help you with your OnlyFans." And she replies, "I'm good, thanks." So then he goes, "No worries." And then, "Hey, I'm gonna do the pickle video with someone else, thanks though." To which she asks why. So the pickle video he's referring to is the podcast was going to be a pickle tier list mukbang or something like that, a pickle mukbang. And it was her idea, it was Jordan's idea, and he's now kicking her out because she declined to do an OnlyFans video with him. So his answer to why was, "To be honest, I thought it would just be fun to film and see where things go, but I got it." So he gets real sad and pitiful, like, "No, I get it. I just thought it'd be fun. But clearly it won't be fun. I'm gonna do it with someone else then. How about that?" So he goes real Neanderthal mode here. "My wiener no get wet. We no eat pickle together on podcast. Goodbye. How dare you not do OnlyFans video with Bintellect?" So then he says he's doing it with someone else. So Jordan, of course, gets really weirded out by this exchange. She posts it on Twitter, and then Bintellect himself, the man, the myth, the legend, reaches out in DMs to threaten to sue her if she doesn't take down the post. She even did a video proving that the DM is real from the real Bintellect account, just to 100% silence any possible doubt. Also, her response to it is great. She said, "I'll just be waiting to hear from your lawyers then," which is hardcore. Obviously, Ben's not going to sue her. I don't think he's ever actually gone through with a lawsuit. He uses it to try and bully people to do what he wants. To do what he wants them to do, rather. So, I don't think any lawsuit was ever coming. This was just a last-ditch Hail Mary from a desperate, lonely guy to try and get rid of the evidence of him being a creep. So, that was the whole interaction between Bintellect and Jordan, but after this tweet started popping off, well, the series of tweets started popping off, She then started getting DMs with more screenshots and more evidence of Bintelect doing this to tons of different women. This comes from someone else who had a very similar experience to Jordan. So Ben opens with, "Do you work tomorrow?" They say, "Crazy busy day, but I don't work." And then Ben goes, "Let's make some content tomorrow." Not like that, but just film a podcast. So he immediately alludes to like, oh, not OnlyFans type content. I'm talking about just a wholesome podcast, one the whole family can enjoy. Doesn't get an immediate response, so he goes, "What do you think?" He then waits about 2 hours more and he goes, "You're killing me, gorgeous." So fucking embarrassing. Jesus Christ, that's so fucking awful to read. Yucky. And then he gives her about 3 more hours and then he goes, "You know what? I've been thinking about this OnlyFans thing, and I think I could make us a lot of money, straight up." And then she finally does reply saying that she's just been busy taking a mental health day. So he can't even go more than like 3 messages without bringing up OnlyFans. It seems like the only thing on this guy's mind is sex and how he's never getting it, I guess, but is very desperate too, and will do it by any means necessary to try and achieve coitus. From everything I can tell, Bintelect has never done any kind of OnlyFans content on his own or like any type of explicit content. He's just a professional TikTok giggler. All he does is giggle at Twitter messages or comments, and that's it. So clearly he's not wanting to dip his toes into OnlyFans for the sake of becoming like an OnlyFans creator. He just wants to have sex with these women, and he's using his podcast as a vessel to try and do that, it seems. After she told him about the mental health day she was taking, he responds with, "Hey, thank you." And then the following day at 6:52 a.m., so this guy must have been up all night masturbating because it seems like that's the only thing on this dude's mind, he sends her a message saying, "Do you want to come over tomorrow night? Actually, are you down to come over tonight? Or are you just a flake?" Doesn't even give her time to respond, just immediately gets combative. He immediately just goes into fucking ballistic bin mode. "So you coming over tonight, or are you just a flake? Huh? Are you just a fucking succubus? Huh? Is that it? Huh? So you coming over tonight?" And then he waits only like an hour and 40 after that, and then he's like, "You know what? Okay, Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry, babe, but you're just too much of a flake. Bye." So then obviously she's like alarmed, like what the fuck is going on? So she says, "You know, if you wouldn't have texted me so rudely calling me a flake after one day of not texting you, you might have stood a chance. I can see why you're single now. Goodbye." Which really just sends Ben off the rails. "Yeah, whatever, go fuck yourself," says the girl who's trying to make an OnlyFans. Good luck. Brother, all you talk about is trying to do OnlyFans content with them. It seems like you're trying desperately to get into OnlyFans but keep getting rejected and can't handle it. So how can you have the gall to try and shame them for it when you are desperately trying to do it yourself? Here's a wacky little Snapchat one. "Do you want to come over here and spend some time with me? Because on a side note, I do think I could probably make us some money on OnlyFans. Bintelect fucks crazy into oblivion." That's redacted right there, like a CIA document. I really wonder what he said. I think it's Bintelect fucks crazy pussy into oblivion or something, but I'm just going off of what I can see poking out from underneath the redaction. I think that's what it is, but this is so goofy. He's speaking about himself in the third person in this one, and then he even tries bribery. "If you come over, I'll give you $1,000. I just really want you." And they respond, "I'm good right now. Don't try to bribe me with money. That's weird." And then he's like, "Yeah, no, that is weird, but I want to see you." This one's a lot more vintage Ben. So this was a different kind of relationship these two had as opposed to just the podcast OnlyFans hustle he keeps trying to run. So they start by saying, "I guess it's just not meant to be." Ben says, "Facts, no hard feelings, but yeah, it ain't working." So then they part ways, or so it would seem. Ben has a couple of parting words here. He says, "For your future self, if you're going to turn around on a guy and say, 'Hey, I'm not down for friends with benefits shit,' just say that before you go through all the bullshit. Boring as fuck. Not my problem that you turned around and quit drinking because you're an alcoholic and now pass out at 8 p.m. Fucking peace out, bitch." So Ben really, he went crazy. Ben lost it. This man, he was punching pillows, sending these texts with tears in his eyes, and he got real nasty. They respond to it saying that they're far from an alcoholic, and then Ben just keeps going crazier saying, "No, you're an alcoholic, and you're full of shit." And then he's like, "Anyway, I'm done. I just had to say that because you're full of shit." They respond saying that they weren't interested in being with Ben, and he should have taken the hint a while ago. But then Ben he goes absolutely berserk again. She says that she's wasting people's time and that she needs to just shut up and go to bed. And then she says it sounds like you need some anger management help, which is a very fair assessment. I think he desperately needs some assistance with this anger management. And then Ben tries to flip this shit around like, how dare you? Are you kidding me? So he goes, be careful who you say that to, Maria, because there are people who really need help with that. So Ben lets out a gasp. That's super disrespectful to say that to somebody, and also a very basic-ass bitch thing to say. Benjamin, it's a very fair thing to say here. It's not disrespectful. You legitimately need some help. It very much seems like you do. So then he then goes, there's a reason you've been single for this many years, and it's because no one wants you, and no one cares about you. You're full of shit. Basic, boring loser. He just goes on, and even has this little monologue here that ends with him saying, God help any guy that you gets involved with that loose pussy because you're just lame. Mic drop ho. This guy just typed out mic drop ho. He just typed that out. He's over 30 years old. I think he's like 34 years old or something like that. I already forgot. This is a 30-something year old man, and he just typed out mic drop ho. To which she responds, I'm sure your TikTok fans will love the way you talk to women when I post these screenshots. And then he's like, you know what? Good luck. I stand by every single word that I just said to you. So, did he stand by every single word that he said? Let's look at his initial apology, which he deleted pretty shortly after posting it, and then also hid replies on. Let's look at his first apology. I've recently been accused of some heinous actions and would like the opportunity to share my disgust at these accusations. I'm a firm believer in the rights and equality of all humans, including women. If that's not the biggest red flag immediately, I don't know what else is. I stand by the rights for all humans, and that does include women. Those creatures. I am including them in that statement because that's the kind of angel I am. It makes it sound like he's drawing a distinction between women and every other human on the planet, like they're a totally separate species that aren't included in humanity. What an absolute incomprehensible weirdo. I grew up in a home with 3 sisters and no brothers, so I learned very early on the importance, power, love, and abilities women have. They deserve to be cherished and uplifted and treated with respect, and that's how I live my life. I do not condone the statements or accusations that have suddenly been hoisted upon me, and I hope to speak to anyone who feels they have been wronged. He's actually going with I have sisters. I can't hate women. I have sisters. No. I have 3 sisters. You guys don't understand. I could never do this to women. Like, you're misunderstanding. These are all baseless accusations. I have 3 sisters. I legitimately cannot be mean to women. And not only do I have 3 sisters, but my mother is also a woman. So you should see how ridiculous these claims are now, knowing this context with my 3 sisters and mother. So that should hopefully clear up all of the air here with these accusations. Like I mentioned, he did delete this apology post, but today he did release a new apology on TikTok. He released an apology video, so let's take a peek at that. Also, Ben, I know you're still watching. You probably plan on suing me if I show your apology video because you've employed this tactic before against other YouTubers. If they've shown clips of your content to make fun of you, you allege that it's stealing your work and you have a legal ground to take it down and come after them. You don't. That's not how that works. Me showing this is not any kind of violation in any way, shape, or form. So if you do try and sue me or copyright claim this video, copyright strike the video, anything like that, I will 100% respond with every single option at my disposal in order to follow this legal case through to its fullest conclusion. So let's check out your apology, brother.
Hey guys, there's a lot being said about me on the internet right now, and I just wanted to clear the air. The first thing I want to say is I'm sorry to anyone that I've made feel uncomfortable.
I love how nonchalant he is about this whole thing, just trying to downplay the situation. Like, if I made any of you feel a bit icky, a little uncomfy, I'm super sorry. That wasn't my intention. You must have misunderstood. It's not what I'm about. When in reality, he would snap, get aggressive, hostile, combative anytime he was denied sex.
I want to say to any girl who I've been rude to, whether through text or in person, that I'm sorry. I understand that me being sorry does not excuse that kind of behavior. I will continue to work on myself and do better. Thanks, guys.
Behold, the first AI ChatGPT written apology. This just ticked every basic box. There's really nothing of value here at all. just like the quickest, weakest apology, and he's just gonna go forward doing his little, look at this tweet. Like nothing ever happened. So that's kind of where everything's at. Dog shit apology, dog shit situation. This guy is a big old loser. So let's use this as a learning opportunity for anyone watching. Don't be like Bintellect.
X.
We all love YouTuber apologies, and if you're thinking to yourself, Charlie, I don't like YouTuber apologies, well then you're lying to yourself, and more importantly, you're lying to me and you make me sick to my fucking stomach, make me want to spit. Everybody loves YouTuber apologies. It's a timeless classic and a staple on the internet. Nobody says I'm sorry more than YouTubers. YouTubers apologize more than a child whose parents just caught him with his hand in the cookie jar. So today I'll be looking at some famous YouTuber apologies and slapping them on a tier list, so get a box of tissues out because some of these are real tear jerkers. The first apology we'll be looking at is actually historically significant. It is the Fine Brothers React apology. This was kind of the progenitor of YouTube apologies and really set the bar low, extremely low, for every apology that would soon follow, and it really just kind of kicked everything off, really the genesis of YouTubers apologizing. Now, the Fine Brothers React channel is kind of like a fossil these days, because luckily people have finally stopped watching that god-awful show, and in 2016, the Fine Brothers were at the height of their popularity. The React series is basically where they just take random people, kids, teens, adults, sit them down and show them memes, and then ask them one question, what did you think of the video? And that's the entire show, and it went on for years, and it used to be super popular when the internet was still this magical, mystical thing nobody understood. And the Fine Brothers, in all of their greed, with little dollar signs in their eyes like Mr. Krabs, decided, let's copyright this. The Fine Brothers themselves are personality-less androids, and when they saw the YouTube community start to react to content, they began to panic and get a little swamp ass going in their diaper with cold sweat. So they did what they thought was the only play they could do. Try and capitalize off it by copywriting the React format, because all they have is the React format, because they can't rely on themselves actually like being entertaining, so they just pull in random people to react to shit. And react is the wrong word, because the people just sit there silently and then say, yep, video was good. It's dog shit. I've never liked the React series, but that's what they had. And when other people were reacting to videos and adding personality to them, they wanted to get their fingers into that pie. So they wanted to copyright it, and you'd have to go through them for their React format, they called it. And it just led to this whole big mess where the internet was outraged. Like, how can you trademark and copyright reacting to something and making jokes about something? Like, they don't own that. And in their announcement about it with React World, they just used very vague terms which scared everyone, that made them think they were going to strike down any videos that reacted to anything. And it was just a huge mess. And they never really did a good job explaining it, but they did do an apology where they basically just said it's your fault for not understanding our huge IQ play. And in their apology video, they come off extremely insincere and like Tommy Wiseau levels of acting. The Fine Bros have actually made a movie of their own called F the Prom, and it's a terrible fucking movie, and it looked like this was an audition for roles in the movie from these two. It is really poorly acted, it seems, and it just came across as like 3 minutes of them just blaming the audience. And they even said things like, we should have used simpler analogies to help you better understand what was going on, making it sound like everyone was just so fucking dumb that we couldn't quite comprehend their galaxy brain analogies, and they needed to put it into simpler terms for us, like, oh, imagine React content is the vegetable paste on your mother's spoon, and she's flying the airplane into your mouth, and that mouth is the React world. You know, it was just a garbage apology, and for that, I'm giving it a nice B tier. Because on the tier list of YouTuber apologies, I think this one is historically significant. I genuinely believe this was where it all started. This was the patient zero of YouTuber apologies, and they did an incredible job of setting the tone for how shitty YouTuber apologies would be from this point forward. But one thing you'll never have to feel sorry about is your web browser. I'm talking today about a new browser called Opera GX, which is the first web browser designed for gamers, with gamers at the forefront of every design choice. Now, I'm not saying that using Opera GX is going to improve your KD and make you a world championship in your favorite esports game. I'm just saying if you do happen to improve your KD and become a world champion while using Opera GX, it's probably not a coincidence. Opera GX has a ton of changes to classic web browsers that make it much better for gaming performance. For example, let's say you're kicking back and having a hard gaming session, you have a ton of tabs open on Chrome, some of them are playing music, that can oftentimes lag your game and just tank the performance, but that's not going to happen with Opera GX. With a feature called GX Control, you can have a bunch of tabs open without hurting your gaming performance. The panel lets users limit their CPU or RAM that they're willing to let their browser use, and there's also a network limiter which limits network bandwidth used by Opera GX so you can gain performance in games and streams. There's Twitch and Discord integration which allows you to log in directly to those accounts just from the sidebar of the browser, and you can design and customize the Opera GX browser. And another really cool feature is the Force Dark Pages functionality, which just puts pages you visit into dark mode so that you're not just blasted by blinding light from some of the pages you visit. So if you're interested in trying Opera GX, you can click the link in the description below to get started. Next up is Tana Mongeau. I don't really know why people watch her or what content she even makes. 3 out of every 4 videos she uploads is her apologizing for some more terrible dumb shit that she does. She's pretty much a magnet for every bad decision you can make online put into one person. She's done a lot of racist shit in her past. She had TanaCon, which was a complete disaster where she rented out a small lobby in a hotel next to a dumpster or something, and then people had to snake around outside in the scorching heat and people were getting heat stroke. And then when she finally showed up, all she did was twerk for 30 seconds and leave, and nobody got what they were promised, and it was a terrible disaster. So she apologized for that for 8 videos, and 6 of them were a Shane Dawson documentary series on it. I mean, her entire channel is like the Netflix of apologies. It would be impossible to choose one for the tier list. So I'm just going to put Tana Mongeau on here as an actual person, because she is a singularity for which all drama is sucked in and then turned into a terrible fucking apology. So Tana Mongeau is going to sit on this tier list at a comfortable A tier. Tana Mongeau is constantly apologizing, giving apology enthusiasts tons of content to work with. She's apologizing for heinous shit that she's done because she continues to do terrible, horrible things. So she's got more terrible and horrible things to apologize for, and she does it horribly. I mean, it is this incredible cycle of continuing to make mistakes and not taking responsibility for them, but pretending that you kind of did. It's incredible. So when it comes to YouTuber apologies, she is the superstar. Nobody is apologizing more frequently than Tana Mongeau, and I don't think that's changing anytime soon. She is holding that world title belt, I imagine, so easily an A-tier YouTube apologizer. Next up, we have RiceGum's apology for promoting a mystery box company aimed at getting kids to buy a box full of wet farts. You get basically nothing out of the box for a high price, and he fell into some hot water for promoting it. And of course, RiceGum, being the pathetic worm that he is, makes an apology video where he basically just says it's not a big deal and you guys are wrong for getting outraged, and then gives away some Amazon gift cards that he personally used over a year ago. So he didn't even give away valid Amazon gift cards. The man sucks. This is an easy F tier. RiceGum himself is like a human F. Everything that man does is an F tier. If a fucking gas station toilet could speak, it would have more interesting things to say than RiceGum. I've never liked him or his content. I've always found him to be one of the biggest douchebags online, so this one's very easy to just slap there at an F tier. Next up is T. Martin's famous apology for the CSGO Lotto scandal. This involved more than just T. Martin, it also involved Syndicate, and those were really the 2 big ones here. A huge mess. CSGO Lotto was a gambling site that was used for CSGO and promoted by these people without them ever mentioning that they directly were involved with the site as owners. And when this came to light, I mean, it's a big deal. It's illegal to not disclose that you have an affiliation with that site or an ownership of the site. And there was this huge outrage about it, and T. Martin, in response, makes an apology video where he just brings his dog on, he gives his dog some little nuzzles on the nose, trying to make people seem like, hey, look, I'm human too, I love animal. And then look in the background, I have a fucking monster truck parked outside because I'm richer than you because I scammed your kids on CSGO. It's an apology video where he never takes responsibility. He says that, things like, hey, I made it clear I own the site, I made it clear, even though there's plenty of evidence to prove that it was never disclosed, his actual involvement with the site. And it was just a huge deal, and the apology video is basically just spent with him rubbing wealth in the face of his audience, and again blaming them for not knowing that he and his friends owned it. So it's a great apology video because it does exactly what YouTuber apologies aim to do, which is take no responsibility and blame the audience for being dumb. It seems like most YouTubers think their audiences are the dumbest fucking people on the planet, so when they apologize, it really comes out, and T. Martin was pulling no punches with how dumb he thought the people that watch him are. And to be fair, if you're still watching T. Martin, you probably are pretty dumb. T. Martin's apology, I'm putting it a C tier because it's pretty much the epitome of a YouTuber bad apology. It hits all of the beats and tries like bringing a dog in to make it more emotional, which is like some South Park shit. It really went in on being a bad apology. So I think that's definitely a comfortable C tier. Next up, we have one of the most entertaining apology videos, Laura Lee's apology video, where she was apologizing for racist tweets that surfaced from her past. Laura Lee gets on camera and does her absolute best to summon tears from her eyes for 5 minutes. She's trying to be like a tear sorcerer, where she's trying her absolute best to just conjure a little moisture in her eyes to make it seem sincere that she's sorry for whatever she's apologizing for, but she just can't do it. So she does like little fake moans and like tries to wipe her eyes, like scratch her eyes and make them forcefully, leak some water and fluid, but she just can't. So it's 5 minutes of Laura Lee struggling to cry while trying to apologize and say how sorry she is. It is a beautiful disaster of an apology video. Truly one of the best. This, easy S tier. Laura Lee's apology, absolutely an S tier. It is wonderful, and there's really nothing else like it in the apology community on YouTube. It's really some incredible stuff. Next one to slap on the tier list is Jay Station's apology following the stunt he pulled where he kills his girlfriend, or his girlfriend was dead or something. I've already fucking forgotten. To be honest, all the Jay Station shit is so incredibly stale. It was fun at the time, but it's just so played out and tired. I don't even remember his apology, and I don't feel like going back and watching it, to be honest. All I know is that if it's Jay Station, it's just not interesting, so I'm just going to put this at an F tier. I think that's safe. I don't think there was anything wild about his apology, considering I've totally forgotten its existence until today, and I think F tier just fits. Now we move on to the absolute most popular YouTuber apology that currently exists on the platform. It is Logan Paul's apology for filming a dead man hanging from a tree in the suicide forest. Logan Paul, for those that don't remember, not too long ago, filmed a dead man hanging from a tree and posted it as part of his vlog. Like a sick fuck, he used that as part of the entertainment of the vlog. He'd be like, "Oh, it's a dead body? Whoa, it's a real dead body, guys. Buy the fucking Maverick merch, woohoo! Maverick merch, baby, dead man over there." I'm honestly still surprised he didn't go over there and just start putting Maverick merch on the corpse, to be honest. It was some disgusting shit, and it caused a huge backlash for Logan Paul, and really the platform as a whole. It was just damaging to pretty much everything and everyone around him. So then Logan Paul made an apology in response to it, being the most popular apology to ever be posted, where he just says he's made a severe lapse in his judgment and the shit is bad and he's sorry. It was straight, it was to the point, there's really not a whole lot to dig into with the apology itself. It's just the most popular one ever posted with 58 million views, and he's apologizing for perhaps the most disgusting thing anyone's apologized for on YouTube so far, literally filming and making fun of a dead body in a suicide forest. Like, that is super fucked up shit. So the apology itself isn't the most wild or crazy apology. It's just the whole magnitude of the entire situation, I think, leads it to being a B tier at least apology. So I'm thinking B tier for the Logan Paul apology. Next up, we have another big one. This is Social Repose's apology for cheating on another YouTuber named Jacqueline Glenn. And I actually made a video on this one where I called it the worst apology on YouTube. And to be honest, it still just might be. The drama here that he's apologizing for is he cheated on his girlfriend. If I remember correctly, it was multiple instances of cheating on his girlfriend, and his apology was basically not apologizing. If I remember correctly, he didn't even say I'm sorry a single time, and instead kind of put it onto her, saying that she just got too attached. She loved him too much, so he had to fuck somebody else. It is still, to this day, perhaps one of the most unbelievable apologies to ever be posted. It is baffling how anybody could have watched that apology and been like, "Yup, I look pretty good here and I think I've cleared myself up." It's terrible. It is still absolutely fucking horrible, and it is hard to sit through. It really is. So I think this apology from Social Repose deserves an A tier in just how fucking terrible and horrible it is, because it is wild. It is still wild to me that this ever got posted. I'm pretty sure he took it down, but the fact that it was even up for any length of time, it's crazy to me. Next up, we have Tati's recent apology. I think the makeup community drama is extremely boring. Each one of them is making like 40 to 50 minute planet Earth level documentaries about some petty fucking drama that happens, and it is hard to sit through. And Tati's most recent apology was no exception. Unnecessarily long, full of a lot of fake tears and moments of sincerity. It just doesn't work. It was not a good apology, and especially because the entire drama was about her, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson attacking James Charles because they wanted to serve him a slice of humble pie, as Shane puts it. It was terrible. All the drama was super fucking dumb. And then Tati comes out of nowhere, like over a year later, talking about, like, I finally have the strength to go through this. This one's for my family. I'm finally gonna go over what happened last year. And the whole drama was they just wanted to fuck a young man's career because they didn't like him and were jealous. Like, it's not like you were some kind of hero coming out of, the heavens to grace us with this apology video and an explanation. Like, it just made no sense, and the apology video is super boring. I definitely think this is a D tier, for sure. The last one we'll be covering on the tier list today is Daddy05's apology. For those that don't remember Daddy05, you're very lucky. Daddy05 was a YouTube channel where a man and wife were abusing their kids for YouTube views. They were absolutely horrible to their own kids, one in particular where they would mistreat them for the sake of YouTube pranks. It was absolutely disgusting. It was truly abominable shit that went on for way too long, flying under the radar. It finally picked up steam and things were finally settled, where I believe that kid that was singled out and picked on the most was taken out of their care, thankfully, and their channels were shut down. So luckily it had a happy ending, but Daddy05, before the end, before the ship finally sank, made an apology video, and he still doesn't quite understand what people had an issue with. His apology doesn't address the blatant abuse that they filmed and posted. They would mistreat their kids for all to see, and yet they couldn't register it. They called them jokes and pranks and that people just didn't get it, and then their apology, they're like, well, if I didn't know these people, I'd think it was bad too, but knowing us, we know it's not bad, and the kids like it. So in the apology, it's basically them just saying, you have to know us to understand it, and the fact you don't know us, yeah, I guess we understand why you thought we were actually horrible fucking parents. But there's nothing joking when kids are getting tossed around, yelled and screamed at, lied to, forced to stay home on adventures just because they didn't like the kid. Like, it's terrible, terrible shit. And I actually think it is genuinely evil. So I'm super glad that Daddy05 no longer exists, but the apology video is still out there. And for that, the Daddy05 apology goes into F tier because it's absolutely just disgusting. It really is. That whole channel was unbelievably bad. Really bad shit. So these are the 10 apologies we wanted to cover on the tier list. I think these were really the 10 biggest ones that I could recall. And yeah. News. And I don't care which one you want first because I've already made the decision for you. I know the optimal order is always good before the bad. So big group hug in the shower tonight. Let's hold hands and enter the smile zone together. One of the most annoying and degenerate pranksters the internet has spawned in recent memory has just been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. His name is Mizzy, and for about a month he rose to internet infamy by doing some outrageously awful pranks. Basically, he'd just commit crimes and laugh about them while filming it, or he'd just make everyone's lives around him miserable. Just this plague of agony that swept through his local community to make everything a bit worse. I won't go through his entire resume of cringe, I'll just go ahead and give you some of his most embarrassing garbage, although in his eyes, this is his magnum opus, these are his greatest hits. So the big one that made him pop off online is when him and his friends would walk into random people's houses to just frighten them, literally just kind of breaking and entering. Then there was this one where he stole a woman's dog at the park and ran away with the dog. And then of course, who could forget the timeless classics, his iconic series here, where he would go up to strangers and ask them if they want to die. Him and his equally pathetic friends would occasionally put on ski masks and run up on strangers, ambushing them, trying to block their way, asking them if they want to die over and over again. So overall, pretty high quality, harmless, gut-busting comedy here from one of the most brain-rotted, clout-poisoned, delusional, attention-starved worms TikTok has ever seen. Mizzy was able to get his name out there for about a month with a lot of people dunking on him, clowning on him, roasting him. He didn't really have fans except for like maybe 7 or 8 year olds that just liked the idea of being disruptive. But outside of that, it was everyone collectively just spitting on him. And then he landed an interview on a major television network where he made an absolute fucking fool of himself, and pretty much overnight, like a fart into the wind, his online presence vanished. Well, kind of. Everyone figured out the garlic to this vampire, the one weakness every clout-obsessed turbo loser has: being ignored, not getting attention. Collectively, most people just stopped paying attention to Mizzy altogether. He was just this little nuisance that would buzz around occasionally, pester people, and they just kind of disregard it. No one was talking about him anymore. It took away all of his power, like Voldemort's name. Like, no one cared anymore about how many times Mizzy would do something that would get himself arrested. They'd just be like, oh, okay, moving on. It's like pee into a public pool. You expect it, and it's gross, sure, but at the end of the day, out of sight, out of mind, you move on pretty quickly. So Mizzy stopped getting attention, and after this month of infamy, everyone forgot about him. But you know who didn't? The law. You see, Mizzy this entire time has still been striving to reclaim that former glory, which is so pathetic that he considers it success when really it's anything but. What he believes is his career would be anyone else's unimaginable shame. He lives in such a distorted reality that he believes everyone shitting on him is a good thing. For him, people just knowing his name is a W. That's a big fucking victory royale right there. Whereas the only reason people know his name is because everyone dislikes him. Like, his whole presence, his whole existence is to be disliked by people, and he is proud of it. That is a nightmarish way of living in this fucking world. I can't believe it, but that's whatever. It's his life, I suppose. If he wants to ruin it, by all means. So anyway, that brings us to today, where he has now been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. He went to trial last month where he was found guilty on 2 charges of breaching a court order. And this court order is actually the most lenient shit imaginable. Basically, it asked him to stop filming people without their consent and posting it online. But this guy is an addict. Like, he can't stop scratching at his fucking neck to violate people's privacy, harass them, and then post it online for his content. He just has this inability to stop himself from being an insufferable asshole. This was the easiest court order ever issued. It was basically a don't be a douchebag order, and he failed. So now he's got 18 weeks detention in a young offender institution, and the judge told him, put bluntly, your pranks are not funny. Which I think is a beautiful thing to say from the judge. Just scathing right to his face, cutting right to the core. Just like, hey, listen, just to be honest, you suck. Like, I need you to understand me here. You're trash. Like, you are actual ass. Your pranks are horrible. I don't know how you sleep at night. You're bad. Like, I think that is just so beautiful in how frank he is with that. So then he said that the 19-year-old's pranks were motivated by a desire to be famous and to receive money and designer clothes from sponsors, which is something Mizzy himself said, which is pathetic, truly just sad. And then the judge continues, your actions caused innocent members of the public significant harm and distress. You claimed on national television the law was weak, and now 18 weeks in the slammer for it all. I will say, I wish they had went a little bit harder here. This is someone who has shown no remorse over any of this, and after he gets out, I have no doubt he's going right back to this behavior. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I even made a video 5 months ago going over just how little he gives a fuck about any punishment that might come his way. He's not going to let it stop him from just being a complete douchebag loser. So even though he'll spend 18 weeks in this detention facility, he's not going to stop this. This is all he seems to want to do with his life, is make everyone else's life more miserable and film it. So I don't think anything's going to change in the time that he'll spend away from society. I think he will come back and be just as annoying and degenerate as ever. That's my bold prediction on it, but no matter what, it is still good news, though, that he is finally receiving some kind of actual consequences for these actions. I think that is good news. That's something to make you smile. Now I'd like to give you some bad news. Colleen Ballinger is back. Colleen Ballinger made another apology video. This time, there's no music to it.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've really missed this. I've missed talking to everyone every single day. Obviously, the last video that I posted on here, it's really embarrassing, to say the least. I was being accused of some pretty awful things, and I just was mad, and I should have handled that situation with maturity and empathy, but instead I just let my ego take over, and I'm really disappointed in myself.
Now, it's been quite a few months since this whole thing happened. Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings, was accused of communicating very inappropriately with underage fans, talking about some really weird stuff with them, a lot of very not good things going on in some group chats with them. I'm not just going to go over the entire situation. I covered it back then. Tons of people did. But what ended up happening is, after all of these accusations came to light, she responded with a ukulele musical number that I think she was striving for a Grammy, which unfortunately she wasn't nominated for. She made a song, a real song to make you wiggle your finger to, called The Toxic Gossip Train, where she didn't address anything really, or like disprove any of the claims or defend herself. She just made a song. So this is now quite a few months later. She's now coming out and saying that that whole thing was embarrassing and that, you know, she regrets the way she handled it, should have handled it with maturity. But I'm going to say, you should never regret writing The Toxic Gossip Train. That song took the Billboard charts by storm. You made a bop. Like, what you should be apologizing for is what you've actually been accused of, and then actually maybe try and talk about that instead, as opposed to your ukulele song. Like, that's not the big problem here. That's not the huge stain that needs to be addressed. Yeah, the ukulele song was a bafflingly cringe decision to do that, but the real thing here, the actual meat, is about all the accusations with the way that you've communicated with minors over the years, and the group chats and like the sexual conversations you had with them about really awful and very weird things. That's what you need to actually talk about.
Over the last 15 years of my career, there have been moments where I was immature and inappropriate with some of my comedy, and there were times when I did not put enough thought into some of my fan interactions, and because of that behavior, people got hurt, and I am so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anybody, but it's clear that I did, and I feel so terrible about that. I also feel like there's probably people who are disappointed or feel abandoned by me because of my silence over the last few months, and I'm so sorry about that as well.
And this is just missing the mark, in my opinion. You're just giving a very vague response to a very specific set of awful allegations. By just delivering this blanketed, I went too far with my comedy, made some mistakes, hurt people, I'm sorry, you're not really doing anything besides just trying to move on from this as quickly as possible and hope that the bare minimum here is enough for an audience to stick with you. After she posted this fall vlog, she's now posted an additional, I think, 3 or 4 videos since now. She's doing daily posting again. So to me, this all just seems like, I'll just reluctantly say I'm sorry. Hopefully an audience will stick around for a little bit, and I'm just going to start bombarding them with a ton of content to flood the rest of this out so that way people can just forget about it. That to me is what this comes across as. The accusations that have been made against her, as well as a lot of the things that have been brought to the public eye, are pretty awful. Like, it's not something that you can just, like, you know, wipe away with a statement like, it was just comedy that went too far and it was a mistake. Because, like, it doesn't seem like there was anything comedic about it, or even, like, supposed to be comedic about some of the things that have come out. It's just, like, pretty deplorable. Like, I feel like it warrants more of a direct tackling of what has been discussed and talked about. You know, like, just a more thorough explanation, I think, is warranted for the victims that have been affected by what you've done. This just seems very, like, I don't know the right word, but it seems very disingenuous and sincere, perhaps, where it's just trying to do as little as possible so you can continue to try and have your Colleen Vlogs channel do daily content and have an audience.
So I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that I create a positive, kind, inclusive, safe space online with my content. And if you want to be a part of my journey online, I would love to have you. And if not, I completely understand. I do not expect anyone to welcome me back with open arms. I don't expect to change anyone's mind with this video. I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm sorry, and I wanted to try to show people that it's possible for someone to grow and learn and be better after making mistakes many, many years ago. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to vlog again, and today I'm just going to...
I cut out a little section in the middle there where she was talking about how, first and foremost, she's a mother, and she was explaining why she hasn't spoken on this sooner, and also that she's been trying to listen and learn from everything with what everyone's been saying. And then eventually it leads to this, where she talks about how she doesn't expect to change anyone's mind, but she hopes that she can try and prove that you can make up for past mistakes, and her path forward is vlogging. So then she transitions this apology into a vlog, which I think is a really weird decision to make. I don't know why you wouldn't make this 2 videos. I mean, maybe because the apologies is only like 3 minutes long and it's not specific, and it still doesn't even directly talk about any of the accusations. It just tiptoes around all of it. It really feels like the apology is more of like an avoidance thing, where she can just loosely talk around the subject and say that she's sorry for it without ever needing to explain herself or what happened or her actions or intentions or anything behind all of it. So it really seems like the intention was get the I'm sorries out and hope the audience is receptive to it and will stick around to watch the vlogs. And her gamble paid off. She was right. She knew her audience. If you read the comments, it's nothing but overwhelming support for her, and the views on her vlogs are great. So yeah, I'm still a bit stunned by the comments here. A lot of them are saying, this is what you should have said to begin with. We forgive you now. Now we understand. It's all good. What the fuck? She still didn't say anything. Like, did you even watch the video? She still said nothing. It's like, the second she said, I'm sorry, everything else went out the window as if it never even existed. She has still not even said anything about any of the actual accusations or anything about it. She just loosely said, ooh, those jokes didn't land. Bit of a mistake, and I know people got hurt. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I guess she doesn't need to. She will, I suppose, continue to do just fine here without ever actually talking about all of these things. I really don't think you can just write off a lot of what's come out about the way she behaved around minors as just her being a quirky, zany jokester. Like, there's really no way of looking at it in any way that isn't weird. But whatever, I guess. Her audience has moved past it and forgiven her, so she's back to daily vlogging and will probably continue to do just fine. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little update here on some good and some bad news. That's